Happy Monday, everyone, and thank you so much for joining into my channel. Why do trans hate Christians so much? Why do they target innocent children? Why do they persecute our religion? Why? Because we have our beliefs that God created a man and a woman and a man, and there's no confusion about that. And God even says, and it says in the Bible, to love our neighbors, whether we may not agree of the decisions and lifestyle that they made, but that's up to God. That's not up for us to judge. And they're adults. If they make that decision at the age of 18 to transition to a different sex, that's on them. But to push that on innocent children, that's where I draw the line here. That's where I draw the line. And for someone so heinous to go up to a Catholic school and just start shooting while innocent, precious angel children are praying, to me that seems so sinister and so wrong. And they're saying the guns are the problem. Handguns are not the problem here. It's what's going on in our society is the problem that we need to talk about it and and have an awareness about this. Guns are not the problem here. Guns are going to be here to stay. It's what's going on with the trans that to just go up there and then just shooting innocent people and then attacking Christian people and Catholic people for no apparent reason. So welcome back everyone to That Said. I really don't understand how people are saying that handguns are the problem, especially what just happened this past Wednesday of a school shooting in Minneapolis. And it's just crazy. The handguns are not the problem because if they take away our handguns, how are we going to protect ourselves? How are we going to protect ourselves from, you know, deranged, delusional trans or other people that are trying to attack innocent civilians? So I don't believe that handguns are the problem. I believe what stems the problem is the people who carry firearms and just go to a Catholic school and just start shooting at innocent children while they were praying and in the beginning of the school week. I don't understand that and how they're not addressing the issue here because it's not the first time a trans adult or a child or a young adult go up to a school and start shooting at innocent children and adults. This is not the first time. This happened multiple times. And they keep saying the guns are the problem. The guns are the problem. No, it seems like there's an issue with trans attacking Christian, okay, attacking Catholic, blaming God, like God is the issue. When they're the issue because there are some deranged trans that hate Christians, hate Catholics, and then they blame it on us and innocent children. And what they do, they take an AR-15 and load it up and then go to a school and they start shooting. And then next you know it, they kill themselves as the coward they are. And why? Why? And then not letting, but then everyone else who was involved in this massive shooting had to pick up the pieces, bury their child, okay? Figure out why this unhinged, crazy gunman, Robert Westman, killed these innocent children and adults. And 17 of them are fighting for their life right now in the hospital. I don't understand this. And this is the society that we're living in right now because you have people from the left are pushing young kids to change their sex. When it clearly says it in the Bible, God made a man and a woman, okay? Not a man to change eventually to be a woman, okay? God is not an author of confusion, okay? It clearly says it in the Bible. He made a man and a woman. You're born as a female or a male. Now, I don't understand why some parents are entertaining when their 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old saying, Mommy, Daddy, I think I'm trapped in a wrong body. I believe I should be a boy instead of a girl. Then parents listen to their pediatrician doctor or listen to their governor saying, you know what? If you don't listen to your child, then your child is going to end up killing themselves. A scare tactic, okay? Scaring them, telling them you have to listen to that. But really, a 3 or 4-year-old, half the time, a 4 or 5-year-old, they don't know what they're saying. One minute, they're Batman. Next minute, they're a cat. Next minute, they want to be a rocket ship, whatever the case might be. Do we really take 4 or 5-year-old kids seriously? No. Why do parents do? They really take their word face value of what they're saying. And they believe it. If your 4-year-old tell you, I'm a dog, are you going to build a doghouse and put them outside? Of course not, because someone will call social service on your ass and arrest you for child abuse. If your child said they're a horse, are you going to build a farmhouse and then put them in a barn with a bunch of animals and hay? No, your child will be eaten up alive by different animals. And then you'd be going to jail for neglect. Like, get serious here. Where's the common sense? Okay? Now, if your child's 10, 11, or 12, their brains are not fully developed yet, but they know because, bodies are changing and stuff like that. And if your kid is telling you at that age that I feel like I'm trapped in the wrong body, I don't feel like I was born as a girl, but I feel like I should be a boy, then you seek professional help. You go to counseling. You talk them through it. You say, well, maybe it's just a phase. You tell your child that. Maybe it's a phase. Maybe it's something that you've been watching on social media or whatever. You just don't go automatically to a doctor or a psychotherapist and then they just tell you, well, this is what your kid needs. This is what your kid wants. And you should just listen to them because that's just their feelings. They're going through so much emotions. So you should just listen to them and just give them puberty blockers. Give them hormones, operate on them, mutilate them, cut their breasts, remove their vagina, and then make them a boy, and then they turn into a man. And after that, they go through all these psychological issues. And then they end up being depressed, alone, regretting what they did because their parents and our society pushed it on them. And then they end up in that dark path, you guys, that dark path. They're hearing voices in their head. Demons, demonic stuff. Next thing you know, they take an AR-15, go to a school and start blazing and shooting kids for no apparent reason. And then they're blaming God. Like God was the problem. When actually the parents was the problem and they were the problems themselves. I don't understand this, you guys. I really don't. And taking away the guns is going to be fixing things? No. By fixing things, you've got to talk to your kids. You've got to educate your kids. Now, if they turn 18 or 19, they still feel the same way that they felt when they spoke to at the age of 15 or 16 or 14, they know the risks, they know the complications, and that's on them, okay? They know because they're at that age. But for parents just to say, okay, we're going to do what our child wants us to do because we don't want them to kill themselves. We don't want them to harm themselves. You're doing more harm by giving them puberty blockers and hormones and operating on them, and it's going to affect them on a long run instead of doing the right thing, the righteous thing, in my opinion, is by seeking therapists, seeking help, talking them through it, guiding them. It may be a phase that they're going through. They could easily change their mind later down the road and say, listen, I don't know what I was thinking. I was just going through a phase. I know who I am. I know I'm in the right body. I know I was born as a girl, not a boy. And like I said, God is not the author of confusion, okay? He made a man and a woman. That is it, okay? He did not make you as a girl and then all of a sudden he decides, okay, you're a girl, then you're going to change you up and make you as a boy. No, it doesn't work that way, okay? It clearly says it in the Bible. But again, is what we listen to, is what we see on social media. You push the kids to change their sex. When half the time they don't even know what that is or what that means. Now, if you're an adult, then do what you do. I don't care. I don't hate anyone. I love everyone, okay? That's what it says in the Bible. Love your neighbors. Respect others. Okay, if you decide to be a trans and change sex, that's on you. That's not on me. But when it comes to kids and pushing it on kids, that's where I draw the line. That's when enough is enough. It needs to stop. Okay? I don't feel comfortable a trans man going to a public woman's bathroom, woman's locker room, playing in women's sport. You're a man dressing up as a woman. Plain and simple. It doesn't matter how many times you dress yourself up, if you have any operations, you're still a man. And I don't feel comfortable as a woman, as a trans man, going to a woman's public bathroom. That's why they should have a separate entity for that. Okay? Why is they're so eager to go to women's bathroom, women's locker room, playing women's sport? Why they can't push for a separate entity for that? You're pushing for a lot of things we agree with, we accept. Gay marriage, the changing of the rainbow color, the changing of the letters. We all accept that. But no, you want us to accept, you going to women's bathroom, women's locker room? No, that's where we draw the line. And the same thing with this. Okay, this is unacceptable. Something has to give. And by taking guns away, that's not solving the problem. Okay, because I want to be protected. Okay, if someone comes after me, I want to make sure I have a weapon to defend myself and my family. So guns are not the problem here. And I was so wrong because every time when I hear another another mass shooting, another trans shooting up a school, killing innocent children and adults, and I'm saying to myself, and I said it in my past video, take away the guns, change some laws, do this. And I was so wrong about that. Okay, everyone has a right to own a gun as long as you have a permit and as long as you know what you're doing. Everyone has a right to protect themselves and their family. By taking away guns and outlawing guns, it's not going to help the situation that we're in right now, especially the situation that the Minneapolis is dealing with right now. And my hearts and prayers go out to the family that lost their son and daughter, and their other children are fighting for their life. And for that mayor, Jacob, saying that we should not say our thoughts and prayers, are you crazy? We should be saying that. That's the righteous thing to do, especially if you're Christian. We should say our thoughts in prayer. What else do you expect us to do when we see incidents like that? Shake the parent's hand? Just go about our business and not say anything? No. I'm going to pray for those families. I'm going to pray for them because that's the right thing to do. That's the only thing that I can give and do is pray. And that's what everyone should do, whether you're Christian or not. And for him to say that, he was wrong. He was dead wrong for saying that, okay? Dead wrong. Yes, that happened in your city. Yes, a trans man, okay, Robert Westman, went up to the Catholic school, start shooting. Thank God. That's how God is so amazing. Thank God the doors was locked because he wanted to go inside the door. Imagine if the doors was not locked. There would have been more tragedy, okay, more death, okay? But God locked that door. And what happens when Robert Westman knew that door was locked? He went back outside and started shooting while children were praying. And little innocent children had to hide underneath the pews. Isn't that crazy? Just imagine that. Just imagine the thought, the terror of innocent children ducking down bullets. Okay? Ducking down. And these kids are so traumatized and so scared when all they were doing is just praying. All they were doing is praying and starting their week off to school. And this happens to them. And the far left is not taking any responsibility what happened, that a trans did this. But you're going to blame the guns. The gun that the trans had and start shooting. Does that make sense? And he had a manifesto. He had an outline of the church because he used to go to that church. And also his mother used to work there too. Isn't that crazy? Had a map, everything, where he wanted to target. That's why he went. That's why he walked up to the door, and when he realized the door was locked, that's when he started shooting because his plan got messed up. Because he never thought the door would have been locked, and thank God it was. Okay, and then he started shooting. Then he had other AR-15, what you call it? Not bullets. I'm not really familiar with guns, but he had this. I wish I would have showed a picture, but I just want to not show it, but tell you really quickly um, what he saw. Excuse me. I'm getting all these text messages. Like, leave me alone. I'm talking right now. So I just want to tell you really quick. Sorry, you guys. It's on this phone. Jeez. I don't even really have that much pictures, you guys. Okay, there it is. Okay, it's a clip. Hopefully, I'm saying it right. Again, I'm not really familiar with guns, which I should be. So it's like a magazine, and one of it says "for the children." How sick and deranged is that? For the children. Another one said, "Fart the N word." I don't want to even say because it's disgusting. The big one, "Fart the N word." I don't even know what that means. And then another clip said, "FUCK, deranged, deranged." And another one said, "Who's your God?" So clearly, it seemed like Robin, not Robin. I'm not gonna go by his the name that he changed. Robert, excuse me, had an issue with God. Something demonic was in that head of his. Okay, something that we cannot explain. Okay, that man was possessed by the devil. Whether you believe the devil or not, I do. He was possessed. Okay, because what that man did was pure evil. Evil. There's no way to describe it. Pure evil and hate. Okay, hate Trump, hate God. This is for the children. All these disgusting things. Okay, he wrote a 4-page letter. He offed himself, a coward that he is. Okay, instead of like taking accountability, and now the law enforcement had to pick up the pieces and figure out what motivates this crazy, unhinged, disgusting, evil man to do this to innocent children. Okay, interviewing the mother. The mother's not really cooperating. She got a lawyer. Well, she should. You know what I mean? Because your son is crazy and he killed innocent children, and among other things. So, like I said, the gun is not the problem. It's the people, the far left, that's pushing this on young kids. Okay? And again, like I said, that's where I draw the line. Now, Jesse Waters on Fox News, and I like watching him because, he's funny, charismatic, and he gets right to the point. It seems like he's getting a lot of backlash because of what he is saying about the trans gunmen. And I listened to what he said the entirety, and I agree with him 100%, which I'm going to share with you guys. I agree with him. And I don't know why people are going to try to sue Fox News or Fox 10 because what he said is 100% correct. Like, the far left needs to stop doing this, stop pushing this on kids. Listen, if, like I said, if you an adult and you want to do this, that's on you. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you transition. That is not my business. But my business is when it comes to kids, when you're trying to push that on kids, when you're trying to operate on young kids, that shit should be banned. That should not be allowed in the United States or other countries as well. They should wait until they're legally 18 to decide if they want to change sex or not. Okay? Whether you are, even if you're not Christian, even though you're not religion, that should be common sense, you guys. That hormones being operated on, puberty blockers, that should not be pushed on kids in our society. It should not. That's just common sense. Common sense. Because at the end of the day, your child, once they turn into an adult, it's going to affect them. Because apparently it affected that man. Obviously, something went wrong, terribly wrong, in that brain of his, that something switched, and a demonic force got into him and got into his head, possessed him, and made him do this crazy, heinous act. Pure evil. But I'm going to let you listen to Jesse Waters, what he has to say, the entirety, and what he says is absolutely correct, and it's super important that you hear what he said because he makes absolutely sense. And Betty Johnson agreed with this. I agree with him. And again, just listen to what he had to say.
So a suicidal transgender who hates Trump, Christians, and Jews shoots up kids at a Catholic school, and the media wants to take away your handgun. So how are we supposed to protect ourselves from trans shooters? The media is bad at pattern recognition. We aren't. Just 2 years ago, another trans 20-something walked into a Christian school in Nashville with a rifle and shot 3 kids and 3 adults. They buried the manifesto and locked down the case. We've seen trans shootings in Colorado and in Maryland. They even shot up an ICE facility in Texas. And it seems like half of Antifa's trans. A couple of they-thems just got popped for firebombing Teslas. The mayor of Minneapolis says, you can't say that.
Anybody who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity. We should not be operating out of a place of hate for anyone. We should be operating from a place of love for our kids.
I don't hate anyone who thinks they're trans. I feel sorry for them.
I do too.
But statistically, the trans population has been prone to violence. That's not villainizing, that's reality. And if you can't recognize reality, you're in danger. We love the American people, especially American children. And if they're troubled and believe they're somehow a girl trapped in a boy's body, we want to get them help. We don't want to give them hormones and operate on them. Society shouldn't be trying to produce more trans kids. We shouldn't be encouraging an emotional disorder or whatever this is. And doctors should stop profiting from it. Great Britain ended child sex change surgeries. They said it's barbaric, and they're right. And politicians should stop elevating the trans issue like it's the civil rights struggle of the 21st century. You see it all over Minneapolis.
Minneapolis will continue to be a safe haven for our trans community,
for being a safe haven for transgender individuals.
We have sued them for gender-affirming care. Yes, we are not going to scapegoat our transgender community.
When our children tell us who they are, it is our job as grown-ups to listen and to believe them.
Let's stop right there, okay? I'm going to stop Jesse Waters right now, for a quick moment. You see, people like her make me sick, okay? You heard what she said, that we, the parents, should listen to their kids if they tell their parents who they are. Are you serious? This is the problem. This is the mother effing problem that we're having right now. You should listen to our kids. So if my child tell me, Mommy, I believe I'm a frog, what do you think I should do? So I should take my kid word face value? Next, you know, they're going to change their mind saying they're a duck. They're this, they're that. This is the problem, okay? Children change their mind all the time, you guys. That's just common sense. They have a figment of their imagination, okay? I just don't understand how anyone can take any kids seriously. This is dangerous. This is a dangerous territory, what they're doing, okay? And for me, that's where I draw the line, okay? You cannot take children face value. Why are you pushing it on them? If they're saying that, seek help. Talk to them. Ask them questions. Where they're getting this from? Why do they feel like they're not a girl or not a boy? Ask them questions. But just to automatically say, okay, Elizabeth, then we're going to take you to the doctor the next day, and then we're going to give you some medicine, some drugs to make you feel all better because you're saying that you're no longer a girl. So then we're just going to change your identity, your sex, and just pump you with puberty blockers and all this crazy stuff. Yay! You're going to be happy and loving. Wrong. Your child's going to be depressed, alone. You're going to regret this, that this happened. Instead of normal parents say, listen, this is not right. We're going to seek help. We're going to pray. We're going to talk to someone. We're going to figure it out together. Okay? Together. That's what most parents should say. Instead of listening to the far left and listening to these crazy quack doctors that say, well, you should listen to your kid. You should listen to your kid because your kid knows best. And again, your child's brain is still fully developing. Hopefully I'm saying it right because I'm just so annoyed and upset about this lady that she said what she said. It's disgusting. Okay? No. You're an adult. You have to know what's best for your child, not the other way around. Because their mind is still fully developing. Fully developing. Okay? It's like a sponge trying to grow and expand. They don't know what they're saying or what they're doing. They're kids. They're kids. And on top of that, it's what they watch. And the schools, what the schools are, some kids or schools or teachers are pushing that on them. Don't tell your parents. I will talk to another adult or whatever when that's absolutely wrong. You should absolutely tell your parents, not the other way around to keep that away from your parents and then the government or your have a say what your child should get or should not get or should be operated on. No, that's not how it works. The parents should know best, and the parents should not listen to any doctors, any teachers, any of that stuff, and then just go with your gut as a parent. Continuing on with Jesse Waters.
So when your 9-year-old tells you he's a horse, do you let him sleep out in the barn and eat hay? What are we doing here? Just a few years ago, the psychiatric community classified transgenderism as a mental illness. Then doctors went woke and removed it as a condition, and now millions of young Americans are identifying themselves as trans and getting high fives. When someone has an illness, we should treat it instead of affirm it. We don't celebrate schizophrenia. We don't encourage depression. Teenagers are confused. Sometimes these things are just a phase. And if they're not, all right, then a grown man can wear a dress. If he wants to do that in America, he has that right. We're a pretty darn tolerant society. But the left's weaponizing trans kids and turning them into culture warriors. And they've been turned loose against the church, schools, and Trump. You see it, I see it. The trans clan has a militant wing, and it's out for blood. They're taking lives, defiling churches, and freaking everybody out. And some politicians are doing more to protect shooters like Westman than soft targets like schools. In 2023, private schools in Minnesota begged Governor Walz to fund more school safety. They told him it was an urgent and critical need. Minnesota had an $18 billion budget surplus, but the governor didn't do it. Instead, he turned Minnesota into a trans sanctuary, and his attorney general, Keith Ellison, sued Trump so they can keep castrating little boys. Tim Walz failed. Our leaders keep failing us. They failed us during COVID, on trade, on immigration. They say they care about kids, but they locked them down and oversaw an obesity and chronic disease epidemic. And now there's a growing trans epidemic, and they won't even admit it.
No.
Just like crime. They created a crisis and then lie about it and blame you for not being compassionate. But their fake compassion is getting people killed.
I agree. I agree with Jesse Waters 100% what he's saying. And it just really sickens me that they're not taking any accountability of what just happened, that a trans man shoot up a Catholic school and killing 2 kids, age of 8 and 10, okay, 17 are wounded, 3 adults who are in their 80s are in the hospital fighting for their life. No accountability, but they're praising the trans. I don't understand that. When you have a trans in your city shooting up innocent children for no apparent reason, where's the accountability for that? Where's the justice for the parents for that? The parents that lost their child, they will never see their child again. They have to prepare funeral arrangement for their child. And all you can say, well, it's not the trans fault. They have nothing to do with this. It's the guns. The guns are the problem. No, the trans are the problem. They hate Christian and Catholic people, okay? They shoot up innocent children for no apparent reason, and something has to give, okay? We all seen it. We're not blind to this, and it just has to stop. It really does have to stop, and I'm just really sickened by this, and I hope and pray that there will be changes. And I hope and pray that, if you're one of those parents that, agree to change your child's sex or whatever, make sure you talk to him and her. Make sure they're okay. Make sure they get wellness checked. Make sure they are aware of their surroundings. If you feel like they're going through a deep, dark path in their life, be there for them. Seek them help, because apparently this gunman, he had issues, big issues. Okay, and there's so much information that we still haven't found out yet. Just the bare minimum of the certain manifestos that the law enforcement have collected, but there's more that meets the eye. Okay, there's so much more of this unhinged gunman who did this, and it's just disgusting. It's despicable, and we need to talk about this more and have more awareness of what's going on, and stop pushing this trans shit on little kids. Stop. Okay, let them be kids. Let them play like kids do. Let them be kids, and if they decide at an adult that they want to do that, then hey, that's your prerogative to dress. If you're a man, you want to dress up and wear a dress in a public setting. That's on you. That's on you. But leave the kids alone. Leave the kids alone. Let the adults dress up, wear pink lipstick, whatever. But leave the kids alone. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching, and I will see you guys next time.